Hello, this is Martha with Living the One Light, and today I am making a video regarding the upcoming full moon in Scorpio, which is happening next Monday, April 26th, 2021. And the full moon in Scorpio has many energies associated with it that I'm feeling pretty called to talk to. But I also want to name the underlying sort of what you could call a bass note. If every planetary configuration is like music, then there are bass notes being played constantly of the outer planets. And one of the bass notes that's really highlighted on this full moon is the Uranus-Saturn square that's happening through this whole year. And the reason that bass note is really highlighted right now is because this full moon in Scorpio is going to be it's going to be opposite the sun, which will be sitting right with Uranus in Taurus. So the light that's shining on, or the energy that's shining on this full moon will be coming from the sun, and in a sense also Uranus. And so the Uranian and Saturnian relationship that's going on through this whole year is just highlighted on this full moon. So I'll talk a little more about that. But when I really drop into what's calling to me on this, in the energies of this full moon in Scorpio coming up, what I drop into is the sense of Scorpio being related to the underworld and like the metamorphosis, how do you say that? The metamorphosis of that we all go through in various times in our lives, and we're always kind of going through some version of that. And we often can feel scared when we think of, sort of stereotypes of Scorpio or Pluto, which rules Scorpio. And the fear comes up because I think the stereotype maybe is that, there's these dark shadow energies that emerge, or the underworld is associated with death and things like that. And yet, when I drop in, the reminder I'm given is that all metamorphosis, all change, all, coming down into the depths of ourselves and then transforming and re-emerging is really ultimately on the ultimate divine level is really about helping us to come back to the divine and to become more and more and more clear in whatever way we came to this planet in this lifetime to be. So, for example, when I think of, our ultimate reality, of course, is that we are the divine. We are the one. And we are pure essence of the light of God. And the way that the spirit world puts it to me is essentially, if we are the light, and we are the one, that's the ultimate reality. And then spirit, the one, source, in a sense, quote unquote, decides, one way they put it is that spirit decides to have some of the particles of source congeal in various ways, and those ways that, these particles of the divine will choose to move and form for a time will become things that are things. So something that's more formed than just particles of existence. And those things can be anything from an archetype to an actual like physical being, like a star or a planet or a me or a you, a human, a dolphin, an ant. There's infinite ways that the particles of existence configure themselves. And the way that the spirit world often puts this is that it's as though spirit is configuring itself on a stage to watch itself. It's a little funny, but it's like, for whatever reason, spirit is chosen to do this dance with itself, essentially, and we are the dancers. We are part, like, we have configured in whatever way we have configured to move and dance as one manifestation of the divine. And so we're moving and dancing with a lot of stories and a lot of karmic realities, a lot of energies, essentially energies that have played out throughout space and time, often having nothing to do with this lifetime, or the energies have moved through they're moving through this lifetime, but they're really stories and energies that are timeless in a sense. But the ultimate reality is the reality of us as the divine. So when I think of Scorpio energy and that sense of the underworld, for me, it's really about an opportunity for us to uncover and let go of layers of things that we're ready to let go of. And, the more and more and more layers we release and let go of, the more we come back into the reality of ourselves as the divine and as the light. And this reminds me of the story of the descent of Inanna. I don't know if you know that story. I don't know it extremely well, but it's been coming up. And the story, what's relevant for me around that story right now, as I'm thinking of this full moon in Scorpio, is that, and I could have this story wrong, but the version I'm going to tell the version that's up for me, and the meaning behind it is what really matters. So, essentially, Inanna, the descent of Inanna is about a woman, a being who goes into the underworld and has to pass through a series of gates. And at every gate, she is told to strip one layer of clothing, or essentially, really, it's a metaphor for one layer of her identity. And so my takeaway from this story really essentially is that going, quote unquote, into the underworld is not about death. It's not about us. It's not a scary thing. It can feel scary, but it's really about us taking off layer after layer after layer of these stories, of these identities that we have in this world that are not us. They're not really ultimately who we are. They're not us as the divine, right? So, like, we might have identities attached to our career, our job, our education level, our status as a parent or a non-parent or a student or a teacher or a author or a whatever, name it. They could be positive. They might have, positive feelings attached to them or negative or both. Often there's a lot of pressure around these concepts we have of who we are. But most of them aren't actually real. And we know that even. And yet we hang on to them. So there's like that overt kind of identity that we hold on to, that when we go into this descent into the underworld, we can, at each gate we can strip away. And then there's even more subtle versions of these identities that we can strip away, which are like storylines, like more of the karmic stuff, like whatever it is, like if a person is holding on to anger around their mother or, women or their father or men or ideas they have in their head, like I'm not good enough, or voices that they've grown up with from teachers or authority figures or parents criticizing them, and they've still held on to those storylines. We all have some versions of that. And so I think of this, what can come up in these scorpionic times as things that need to be let go of, that are not who we actually really are. So that's one aspect of these energies of this full moon that are really calling to me. And then when we bring in the energies of that base note I was talking about with the Uranus-Saturn square, Uranus also has to do with freeing us to be in the truth of, like the ultimate reality of the divine plan of things, in a sense. So, and then Saturn is pulling us back, and it's like, I'm feeling that. I personally feel the Uranus-Saturn square as a gift. People talk about it a lot as, this clash of the old and the new. I don't disagree with that, but the way that I'm personally feeling it is that Uranus is giving us energy for vision of the future, or vision of, what the ultimate divine choreography of things might be through us as creators, or as, co-creators with the divine. And then Saturn, so Uranus might want to blast out into into that vision, and then Saturn is saying, okay, that's great vision, and how are we going to do that? So like, come pull back, pull on the reins, and pull back into your center, pull back into the reality of I have 2 feet on the ground, on the planet Earth, like I have a physical body. How am I going to practically, step by step, create that vision, but in a way that's really actually going to work? And so if I think of this full moon in Scorpio with this base note playing of that Uranus-Saturn square, really the ultimate goal of all of it, and of our lives in general, especially if we're choosing to live in this way, is that we came to this planet for a reason, and we came to be who we really are on a spiritual level. And we came to clear whatever we needed whatever we need to clear, whatever healing needs to happen, whatever needs to move through us. That's part of why we're here. And at the same time, we're also here to shine, to be like the pure essence of the divine that we are, and to live that Uranian vision of divine reality in a Saturn grounded, centered, practical way on the planet Earth. So, I mean, I think that's what's really cool in general with any of these energies, and just in life in general, is that we can get freaked out, we can get scared, we can experience certain aspects of life certainly as extremely difficult, and that do not negate difficulties in our lives at all. That is, I fully acknowledge and honor that many things are extremely difficult in our world and in our lives. Absolutely. But when we're simply thinking of, our concept of what, let's say, Scorpio could be, I don't find it particularly helpful to freak out that that Scorpio could mean X, Y, or Z thing. I personally, when I drop into what the spirit world is, really calling to me, and when I look at these energies, really they always seem to be a gift. And a gift, again, toward, with the end goal, or the goal in this moment, of every moment, being for us to remember who we are and be who we are. So it's not an instantaneous process, and there certainly can be and are times when things are extremely difficult. So those kinds of energies, those difficult emotions, can come up with Scorpio, like the things that come up from the underworld, or from those layers of things that we might be ready to let go of. It can be experienced as really difficult feelings. And so another thing that is coming up for me around these energies is a reminder and a notion that I've mentioned in at least one other video at some point. I think actually in the self-love repatterning program that I'm working on right now, is the idea that all difficult feelings are an opportunity for love, and an opportunity to give ourselves love. And the way that actually it came through in the other video I made was that difficult feelings are portals for love. So I also feel a call in this, when I drop into the energies of this full moon, for us to really be gentle with ourselves, and that when we're in times when maybe we feel like we're in a dark night of the soul, or, we're in the metamorphosis of a butterfly involves that cocoon time when the caterpillar dissolves into liquid, dissolves into nothing. And most of us have experienced at least one of those times in our lives. I've certainly experienced, I don't even know how to count them, but when I have been in moments like that, I mean, it sucks. It does not feel good. It is often extremely painful. And so, yeah, I'm just feeling this reminder that when we're in a moment where we're feeling pain of any kind, or distress of any kind, whatever it is, that it is an opportunity for us to just wrap ourselves in love and remember that in that moment, think if it's helpful, think of it that it's like a portal, literally a portal for like just pour pour love through that portal into yourself and let it fill you up. Yeah, let it wrap you. If you feel like you're in that cocoon time, just imagine that cocoon holding you, and like the threads of the cocoon are just golden and you're being held. Yeah, and so to go along with this the full moon, I also made this a little video that I will post separately. That is, I've started making these little prayer videos, tiny little prayer videos with little music. Just playing around with them. They're fun. So this one, the prayer that came through is, "My soul and the divine know the way. Gently and slowly I follow the way of my soul. Difficult emotions are opportunities for loving me, and all the while my soul and the divine are unfolding me." I'll read it one more time. "My soul and the divine know the way. Gently and slowly I follow the way of my soul. Difficult emotions are opportunities for loving me, and all the while my soul and the divine are unfolding me." And then this prayer has a picture of a butterfly coming out of a chrysalis. So that's very much associated with scorpionic energies in a good way, a beautiful way. Yeah, and I'll be making a separate video for my Patreon members, a channeled video having to do with these energies of this full moon. And if you feel called to join me there, that video, the full moon videos are for everybody at $6 a month and up. New moon videos are for everyone $3 a month and up. And then I have weekly videos for people at $10 a month and up. And then starting at $25 a month and up, I do one-on-one direct contact with people. Starting at $45 a month, it's actual, like mini sessions. And if you're wanting to work with me on a regular basis, a really affordable way to do that is to join the Patreon membership. So, yeah, if you feel called, certainly connect with me there. And I would love if you would subscribe to this YouTube channel. And I have other offerings on my website, including my books, which are all on Amazon, and online journeys, a deep peace and healing video series, which is very affordable. You can connect to all of it on my website, www.livingtheonelight.com. You can email me at livingtheonelight@gmail.com. And yeah, that's all for now. Happy full moon next Monday. And I will see you soon. Thanks for listening.